Welcome to our YouTube channel, where we delve into the world of personal growth and self-improvement. Today, we are diving into the book Superthinking, the Big Book of Mental Models by Gabriel Weinberg and Lauren McCann. This book is a treasure trove of insights and strategies to help you think more effectively and make better decisions in your everyday life. So, let's dive into the summary of this incredible book. But before we dive into the content, I kindly request a moment of your time to appreciate this video by liking it, subscribing to the channel, and ringing that notification bell. Your support means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Superthinking introduces the concept of mental models, which are frameworks for understanding how the world works. These models can help us make sense of complex information, see patterns where others see chaos, and ultimately make better choices in our personal and professional lives. The book presents over 300 mental models that cover a wide range of topics, from psychology and economics to biology and physics. One of the key takeaways from Superthinking is the idea of second-order thinking. This concept urges us to consider the long-term consequences of our decisions and look beyond immediate outcomes. By adopting a second-order thinking mindset, we can avoid short-sighted mistakes and make more strategic choices that benefit us in the long run. Another important lesson from the book is the value of probabilistic thinking. Instead of relying on binary black and white thinking, we should embrace uncertainty and make decisions based on probabilities. By understanding the likelihood of different outcomes, we can make more rational choices that lead to better results. Superthinking by Gabriel Weinberg with Lauren McCann is a book that teaches readers to think more effectively. It offers strategies to improve decision-making, problem-solving, creativity, and more. Gabriel Weinberg is the founder and CEO of DuckDuckGo, a multi-billion-dollar internet privacy company. He is the author of Traction, a guide to generating customer growth in the startup sector. Lauren McCann is a statistician and researcher with over a decade of experience designing and analyzing clinical trials in the pharmaceutical industry. She holds degrees in mathematics and operations research from MIT and has written for several prestigious medical journals, including the New England Journal of Medicine. Superthinking is a conceptual toolkit designed to help you cut through complexity and make better decisions. Drawing on insights from fields as varied as biology and economics, entrepreneur Gabriel Weinberg and statistician Lauren McCann present the mental models used by today's top problem solvers and decision makers. But this isn't a dry academic treatise on logic. Apply these models to your personal and professional conundrums, and you'll be well on your way to becoming a super thinker in your own right. Superthinking by Gabriel Weinberg with Lauren McCann explores mental models and how they can improve decision-making and problem-solving. Here's why this book is worth reading. It offers a comprehensive collection of mental models, providing readers with practical tools to make better decisions in all aspects of life. Through a blend of real-world examples and case studies, the book demonstrates how mental models have been applied successfully, making it highly relatable and applicable. The authors clearly explain complex concepts in a concise and accessible manner, ensuring the book is engaging and informative, rather than dry and dull. Here is a sentence showcasing the greatness of a quote of this book. "Everything should be made as simple as it can be, but not simpler." Roger Sessions. Gabriel Weinberg with Lauren McCann. Those are the individuals who truly deserve to immerse themselves in this extraordinary book. Thinkers and logicians, science buffs, self-optimizers. Superthinking also explores concepts like inversion, where we solve problems by working backwards, and Occam's razor, which advises us to choose the simplest explanation when faced with multiple possibilities. These mental models act as powerful tools to enhance our critical thinking skills and navigate the complexities of the modern world. Now, let's delve deeper into some of the fascinating mental models discussed in Superthinking. One such model is the concept of opportunity cost, which reminds us that every choice we make comes with a trade-off. By understanding the opportunity cost of our decisions, we can make more thoughtful choices that align with our priorities and goals. Another powerful mental model from the book is the concept of mental bandwidth. This idea highlights the importance of managing our cognitive resources effectively to avoid decision fatigue and overwhelm. By optimizing our mental bandwidth, we can focus on what truly matters and make clearer, more intentional decisions. Superthinking also explores the role of feedback loops in our decision-making process. Understanding how feedback loops work can help us learn from our mistakes, adapt to changing circumstances, and continuously improve our strategies for success. By embracing feedback as a valuable tool for growth, we can accelerate our progress and achieve our goals more effectively. In addition to these key concepts, Superthinking offers practical exercises and real-world examples to help readers apply the book's principles in their daily lives. From analyzing complex problems to making difficult decisions, the insights shared in this book can empower you to think more critically, creatively, and strategically in any situation. Here are some invaluable insights gleaned from this captivating book. I trust you will find them exceedingly beneficial. Feel free to delve deeper into its wisdom and let it inspire new perspectives and ideas in your journey. 1. Superthinking leverages tried and true concepts to help us explain the world and make better decisions. We make dozens of decisions every day. They aren't all big decisions, but enough bad calls can cumulatively result in overdrawn bank accounts, unhappy marriages, and dead-end jobs. That means that every decision counts. Life, however, is full of complicated conundrums and ambiguous evidence. Making up our minds often feels less like an act of reason than a stab in the dark. Surely there's a better way? Well, there is. Superthinking, a way of understanding the world that relies on proven cognitive blueprints to make sense of the jumble of data out there. Let's unpack that. Every industry has its own mental models that allow practitioners to create mental pictures of a problem. These aren't one-off snapshots, but techniques that can be reapplied time and again. That's the model part. Put differently, they're recurring concepts that explain the world. Most mental models are pretty rarefied and used only by specialists. Others are much more widely applicable. These supermodels can help us make sense of everyday life. Take critical mass. Physicists use it to describe the minimum amount of nuclear mass needed to create a critical state that triggers a nuclear chain reaction. But it's also a handy model in other contexts, like that of technological change. Fax machines were invented in the 1840s, but languished in obscurity for over a century. Why? Their cost meant only a few wealthy individuals and organizations could afford to adopt the technology. That affected the perceived value of faxing. Even if you bought a machine, you wouldn't be able to communicate with anyone you knew. As the cost came down, more people bought fax machines and more connections became possible. To put that into numbers, 2 devices can make 1 connection, 5 can make 10, and 12 can make 66. By the 1970s, faxing had reached critical mass. There were enough machines that the network itself became useful. If you had your own device, chances were you'd be able to contact anyone. Contemporary businesses have made a killing leveraging that insight. Critical mass told ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft, for example, how many drivers they needed in cities before people would begin relying on their services. That's not the only supermodel that you can use to cut through complexity. In the following blinks, we'll be looking at a ton of shortcuts to help you boost your cognitive performance. 2. Avoiding unforced errors and arguing from first principles can help you be wrong less often. How we look at something determines the way we think about it. Take it from 19th century German mathematician Carl Jacobi. His motto, invert, always invert, which means that it's often easier to solve a problem when you approach it from the opposite or inverse point of view. Investors, for instance, usually assume their aim is to make money. But Jacobi would say that it's actually to avoid losing money. That goes for decision-making, too. Common sense says that making better calls is about being right more often. Inversion tells us it's actually about being wrong less often. 3. Occam's razor might just hold the key to your love life. We've just seen that solid reasoning is built on fundamental truths. But how do you know those are correct? It's an age-old question. The 2nd century Roman astronomer Ptolemy, for example, argued that it was a good principle to explain phenomena by the simplest hypothesis possible. 1200 years later, the English philosopher William of Ockham reached the same conclusion. When confronted with equally plausible and competing assumptions, the simpler is more likely to be true. Call it Occam's razor. The idea is to shave off unnecessarily intricate explanations. In other words, think horses, not zebras, when you hear hoofbeats. For putting yourself in others' shoes is hard, but the veil of ignorance can help you make fairer decisions. Working out other people's motivations is tricky, especially when they're strangers. The upshot? We jump to unfair conclusions. If a colleague sends us a curt one-line email, we think he's being dismissive and discount the idea that he might just be in a rush. Psychologists call that a fundamental attribution error. While we explain our own behavior by looking to our intentions and external circumstances, we ascribe other people's actions to essential characteristics. If you run a red light, it's because you need to get to the hospital. If another driver does it, it's because she's inherently reckless. 5. If you don't want to get left behind by social change, you need to become adaptable. The peppered moth is a night-active species native to temperate climates and a familiar sight across Britain. Before the Industrial Revolution, most peppered moths in northwestern England were light-colored, a trait that helped them camouflage themselves on light tree bark. But between 1811 and 1895, the percentage of dark peppered moths rose from 0.01% to 98%. What happened? It's a classic example of Darwin's theory of the survival of the fittest. Pollution from coal mines covered trees in a thick layer of soot. Lighter moths then became easy prey for predators, while their darker counterparts remained hidden and thrived. 6. Anecdotal evidence and the fallacy that correlation implies causation skew our understanding of statistical data. We live in a data-driven world. Quantification, once the preserve of scientists and engineers, shapes the way we understand everything from climate change to our personal lives. You might even be using apps that tally up your daily movements and tell you how much sleep you're getting. That's good, right? Well, yes and no. As the American writer Mark Twain liked to point out, there are lies, damned lies, and statistics. Numbers, in other words, can mislead as easily as they can inform. And that's why it's so important to avoid statistical stumbles. 7. Confusing social and market norms undermine reciprocity. Let's face it, life is full of conflict. In economics, these adversarial situations are sometimes described as social games, pitting self-interested players against one another. Most conventional games are zero-sum. If you win, I lose. Unlike chess, however, real life isn't black and white. Sometimes everyone can win. Take a study of tipping discussed in American psychologist Robert Cialdini's 1984 book Influence. It found that waiters who give their customers small gifts increase their tips. An after-dinner mint equaled a 3% rise. 2 mints took that to 14%, while 2 mints and a line like, "And for you nice folks," an extra mint pushed it to 23%. As we wrap up our exploration of superthinking by Gabriel Weinberg and McCann, remember that the power of mental models lies in their ability to transform the way we perceive and engage with the world around us. By incorporating these models into your thinking process, you can cultivate a sharper, more expansive mindset that opens up new possibilities and opportunities for growth. In conclusion, Superthinking by Gabriel Weinberg and McCann is a must-read for anyone looking to sharpen their cognitive skills and elevate their decision-making abilities. By embracing the mental models presented in this book, you can supercharge your thinking and unlock new levels of understanding and insight. So what are you waiting for? Dive into Superthinking and start transforming the way you think today. You can find the link to acquire a copy of this incredible book in the description below. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Superthinking. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you found this book summary helpful, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more book summaries and insightful content. And share this uplifting summary with someone who may benefit from hearing them. Leave a comment down below if you've read this book or have any other recommendations for us. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep superthinking. Until next time, farewell.